Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For this session, I would like to talk about muhasabah or self-reflective session, self-reflection. It's about what I've learned from the class or outside the class. And the most important is the energy conversion system class. Okay, there'll be 4 topics that I will talk about, which is the value, knowledge, skills, and consciousness, or I short it for VKSC. The value I've taken from the HAS class, and there's also value that I would give to the employer that I'll work for or the business that I'll run. Since learning HAS, I've learned about the value of professionalism. In this class, I discuss a lot with my friends, William, and also Adrian, and also Regina, Dimitra, and Faik, and other. And also I explain the most valuable and basic knowledge from the class, not just about the um, not just about the not just about the theory, but also experience. I was graced with the experience that the energy conversion system 1 class gave me. So the value that I give as a mechanical engineer is that I'm able to learn turbomachinery in the field at a fast rate because I took this class. Number 2 is knowledge. Knowledge is not about the theory that you study in class, but it's also about the experience you've taken from other sources. But from the class, I've learned about pumps, compressors, turbines, piping systems, and how do I convert to the energy that I need, to the energy that I need. Of course, the main principle of those machineries is a rotating machine. The machine in question has characteristic that is well displayed with a velocity triangle. This is the primary knowledge that I have to learn in the class, since every rotating machines will have different velocity triangle characteristics. So how do I learn it? I learn it from the slight difference between the 3 machines, because the 3 machines have different characteristics on the velocity triangle, so it shows which is which. Hence, using the knowledge of the velocity triangle from these 3, or even more, I'm able to grasp the concept of rotating machine, and also the calculation lies in the velocity triangle as well. Mas Edo said that actually the calculation will be easily solved in programs or Excel, but however, what I need is the basic knowledge. So the knowledge from the pumps, compressor, turbines, and their characteristic is way too valuable for me, and I'm really grateful for that. Pumps, there's axial, there's centrifugal, there's compressor axial, there's steam turbine, there's gas turbine, impulse reaction turbines, compressor, there's also centrifugal compressors, and all of them is rotating machine, just like I told you. Maybe before I step onto this, I would like to talk about my experience in other classes. I put piping system here. I also learned it in risk management. This is basically the FBD system, the functional diagram system of a cryogenic gas processing unit. So basically, I would like to cool the gas and condense it into water, and also heat some of the stream into the stream that is used primarily to move the turbine to gain the power. This is called reflux. It's basically a heat exchanger with 3 streams. It's so complicated. We have to search the uh, the formula, because it's not mainly found in journals or books. But I didn't really concern with the calculation. I'm concerned with the reliability. HIS system also taught me how to read this piping system. This is such a valuable knowledge for me. Okay, then for the pre-test energy outlook, Pak Rido gave us some reading that is actually really interesting since it mentioned how the world would be if there is so much carbon versus if there is no carbon in the air. There is three main classes, which is the business as usual, the rapid zero. No, it's just rapid, and the last one is the net zero. Business as usual means that we actually do what we do right now in for the next 30 or so years. Okay, I'll talk about this agile outlook because it basically um, predict the future in 2050. Rapid means that we try to make policies, we try to change the behavior of consumers so that we produce less and less carbon. And for net zero, we basically make no carbon at all. I also talk about pumps, impulse, traction turbines, and piping systems. Pumps, of course, is useful because we actually use it not only in residential, but also in other industry as well. There's so much type of pump. It basically depends on your need. You need high head. There's also a pump for low head, low velocity. It basically depends. If you're an academics, you can also use a smaller pumps. But if you're industry, you can use the pump to cater to your needs. Impulse and reaction turbine basically have the same principle, but they differ in the blades and how they move or rotate. But it basically powers up the generator by the movement or torque from the water stream. Yeah, this is I think this is just water instead of gas, and because steam turbine and gas turbine is different topic from this turbine. And piping system, I also mentioned it earlier. Compressor basically try to make the pressure higher from the rotation of the blade. There is axial and there is centrifugal compressor. I would like to talk about the difference. I'm sorry. What we basically found in most power generation industry, I think, is the axial turbine. It have uh, it cares to really big mass flow rate because we actually need because we actually have low pressure ratio. So if we try to have lower mass rate, I think it just doesn't really work for the compressor. This is commonly found in maybe power generation like Pertamina. So of course it will use a really big mass flow rate. Smaller mass flow rate can be found in centrifugal pumps. Um, I think this is can be used in a more smaller industry instead of axial. Okay, let's move on. Number of touch, of course, there's so many number of touch in compressor. I think it's about 13. Centrifugal, I'm not really sure, but I think it's way lesser than axial. So basically, I'll try to draw it. Stage is the number of stator and rotor present at the compressor or other rotating machine. It basically sets off rotor and stator. So actually, axial compressor works in axial configuration from the stream, and it will have higher efficiency as well. I don't think I need to go further to this. And we also learned about steam and gas turbine. Steam uses steam that is heated to superheated steam, and gas turbine actually have mass transfer, not mass transfer, but they basically combust the stream, the air stream, and they put it into the turbine to generate power. And there's also hydraulic and pneumatic. And there's also application of ECS, the building and production system. This is basically what the main topic or main idea of the class. We have to know how to apply the knowledge into buildings. Buildings such as HVAC system is widely used, or the piping system is widely used, and the power generation system is what we use. No, it's the industry that powers up what we use every day, the electricity basically. And then the main skills that I pick up are the program Open Modelica. This looks like EAS like this, but I would say that this is model based or objective based. You can develop your own model, your own system in this program. EES is really simple, but I think it cannot make diagrams. It cannot make the deep models, and it doesn't really do optimization that well if you're not using MATLAB. So I really value the praise Open Modelica in the class. And in the class, I'd say that I'm pretty active in discussion. This is one of the skills that I work on during the class as well. I hope my hard skills such as sense of engineering, this is what I really need when I try to make myself a career in power generation or on the industry. And also the soft skill, which is how I explain things to people so that they understand and that I understand them back. This is basically, those two basically the backbone of my engineering career or career as an engineering. I would say that consciousness and awareness concept is taught deep in the class. I don't think we actually get this topic or get this presentation in any class other than ECS or ECS 2. And this makes me realize that I lack the deeper understanding of things that I do every day. The best example of more aware is that life is full of lessons and learning. And I'm aware that I'm still 21, so I'm not too late for that. In this class, I also try to learn the topics from the class beforehand. This is basically how I apply my consciousness. And now I'm aware that learning from experience or outside the class is also important compared to what you learn from the class. But those two makes up who you are today. Maybe that's all my most session. Thank you very much.